Student athletes transferring from another university to come play at UPEI is not a regular occurrence. However, this edition of the men's hockey team has 3 such players. Today we sit down with 2 defensemen who transferred from the OUA. Mississauga's Alex Gagne and from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Dave D'Agostino. Dave D'Agostino, Alex Gagne, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having us, man.
So boys, I said in the opening, you guys came, you were a bit of unique for UPEI in the sense that you're transfers from another university, and maybe can you talk a little bit about how you ended up here at UPEI? Dave, maybe I'll start with you and then Alex, go after that.
Yeah, I mean, as my time was coming to an end at York, I just was looking for something new. Started reaching out to schools kind of, all over Canada and bouncing back and forth with coaches. And
did you have many offers?
I had a couple here and there. It ended up rounding down to Brock, which was my hometown, or here. And I knew that I didn't want to be at home. I'd been away for a while, and going home wasn't an
Not
option
that you
for
don't
me.
love home.
No, yeah, of course, but just wanted to get away, try something new. And Forby was excited to have me come out, and so yeah, made it work.
Alex?
I was at Nipissing in the OUA for 2 years prior to this. It didn't work out this year, and reached out to one of my good friends, Leon Denny, on the team, and there was an opportunity. So
Shawinigan connection, right?
Yeah, and Truro.
And Truro, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's been twice that we've reconnected, and he threw me a lifeline, and I jumped on it.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff. So your route was a little bit circuitous, Alex, I guess, in the sense you're from Quebec, you go to Ontario and you play major U18 with Orlando Monopoly, right? You were a teammate of his, I think, Yvonne, and then you come back to Quebec and you play with Esther Blondin, and you play with Zach Beauregard, former Panther and Charlottetown Islander, and then you end up playing with the Qs. So how did that come about? You switching provinces back and forth like that.
So my Elite Prospects has it wrong. I'm actually from Mississauga.
Okay.
So half my family's from Quebec, and they have it, I guess, wrong.
Okay.
So my uncle lives in Blainville, so they have my birthplace as Blainville.
There you go.
I didn't get drafted in the OHL. I was kind of a late bloomer. Then I had the opportunity to live at my uncle's house, like I said, in Blainville. And there was a really promising team there for the second year midget. Got some guys that are in the NHL now, Thomas Bordelot for the Sharks there. So promising young group. Decided to stay at my uncle's house and turn his address into mine, kind of. And did that, and then I was eligible for the draft to the Q.
So because you moved over, that made you eligible for the Q draft. Okay.
Exactly.
Good. Thanks for clarifying that.
No worries.
So, and Dave, you had prior to coming here, you had a bit of an experience out west. You went out and played in the Alberta Junior League, and you played with a guy that turned out to be a pretty good hockey player. Cale McCarr. Of course, he was 17 at the time, 18 at the time.
I would have been turning 18 when I got there.
So what was that like? I mean, you guys had a good run in Brooks, and you played with a pretty spectacular player.
Heard of him.
Honestly, it was unbelievable. There's not really words to kind of put it into place. He was a surprise to everyone, every night, every single night. And there were people asking me, is he really that good? It's just junior A. But I remember watching the draft that night, and I was telling my buddies that he might slide up to first.
Oh, go ahead.
I was confident he would, and I'm sure looking back, there were teams that were
regretting that decision.
Maybe he probably could have, it was unreal guy, super quiet, loved the game. He taught me a lot.
Did you get to play with him?
Yeah. So when
as a defense partner.
When I got there, I played with him for the first couple months, and then things shifted around, and didn't end up playing with him for the year. But I'd say September, October, I was with them.
So you guys a pretty good run that year too, right?
Yeah.
Is losing the RBC final kind of still sting a little bit?
You know what? No, like, turn the page for sure. I mean, we definitely, that was, I don't know, what, 5 or 6 years ago now. But yeah, I was actually looking back at it. I think our record on the year was 76, 6-6.
Wow.
So it was a pretty unreal year, yeah. Losing that game obviously sucked.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, looking back,
there's always got to be a winner and a loser, right?
Yeah. I mean, they played a well strategic game, and is what it is.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
So, boys, you're coming in. You both played in the OUA, the Ontario University Association. You're now in the AUS. You're 8 games in. Not to say pit one against the other, but what do you see as maybe similarities between the two conferences and maybe some differences that you're seeing between the two leagues? Dave?
You know what? It's not that much different than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
I'd say, you know, it's a little bit faster. The skill level goes deeper through teams.
Yep.
And I find that teams are more structured and the players on the teams are buying into whatever they're planning on doing. The OUA is a little bit more kind of run and gun.
Yeah.
Sometimes can feel like river hockey.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, not to paint that picture of the OUA,
Sure.
but relative to here, it can feel like that sometimes. I don't know. What do you think, Tiggy?
Yeah, I agree with like the depth of it. I think there's a lot of dilution in the OUA. And it's not, you know, they have more teams
too, right?
Which is exactly, so it's normal since you only have 7 teams here.
Yeah.
And I mean, the AUS has sent more players than the OUA Pro.
Sure.
So there's no doubt that this league has more.
And how do you
skills.
guys feel in terms of maybe your adjustment, and of course the team's adjustment, because the team's rookie laden, you guys are part of that rookie crew. How do you feel that adjustment's gone? Maybe on a personal and from a team standpoint.
I actually went through it pretty much like every year in junior. So I'm like kind of like a rebuild king.
Okay.
Like honestly, I've only
That's
been
right,
part of
because
rebuilds.
Shawinigan would have been coming off, Victo would have been coming off their strong teams as well too.
Yeah, exactly, and Nipissing too. It was just like 3 rebuilds in a row. So it's now I'm kind of like a third-year guy, kind of playing like I'm a new guy, but I'm also an experienced guy on the team.
Yep.
It's all about, you know, making friends first, and then you kind of become a little kind of a leader on the team too.
Yeah. Dave? Of course, you've got the injury you're dealing with, so your adjustment has been a little bit different than, say, Alex's, or who's been thrust into a lot more minutes than maybe might have been expected coming back at the start of the year. So maybe talk about that, and maybe talk a little bit about your injury and how that's coming along.
Yeah. I mean, for myself as well, I feel like I've been aside from my time in Brooks, I've been a part of some rebuild teams as well, including my time at York. It seemed like we were rebuild, and then even as my class was coming in, it was like another rebuild. And you know, it just obviously getting older and maturing throughout that whole process. Coming here, my biggest thing was just to make sure that I was a leader and provide the support for the younger guys that I had when I was in first year. And I know that it's not easy to ask in those situations. And I had a mentor in my first year who, you know, shed a lot of light on a lot of, you know, negatives. And taught me a lot, so I'm trying to kind of
pass it on.
Yeah, and as you mentioned with the injury, it's kind of tough now, not being in the dressing room all the time or on the ice with the guys, but I'm trying to be present as much as I can, and you know, just lift spirits when I can.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you're you've got a bit of a unique. Growing up, you're from Niagara. You actually grew up in a vineyard, and they're known for producing pretty good wines up in that area. And sort of like, and you also were a lacrosse player growing up, competitive lacrosse player. Can you talk a little bit about those two things, the vineyard side and Competitive lacrosse, it's pretty popular in Ontario too, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I mean, growing up in Island Lake was, it's been awesome. I love it there. I love going home in the summers. On a small vineyard, it's nice to, you know, I like to go outside and enjoy my coffee in the morning.
Did you work there?
I do some work on our fields, but I actually spent this past summer working at another winery. Okay. It was fun. Got to learn a lot about wine. Got to drink a lot of wine.
Good. So you're the resident sommelier on the Panthers.
Yeah,
right?
Something like that.
Boys go to you for selections and references.
Just point them to the cheapest wine. That's all. But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's like a farm town, but not really a farm town compared to some guys who might be from, you know, the Midwest. Yeah. But it was good. You know, ride your bike everywhere, kind of still that same feel. And like you said, a lot of sports, and lacrosse was one big one there. Yeah, I grew up playing it. I actually stopped playing for a little bit because I kind of like soccer too. And then my dad.
Multi-sport guy.
Yeah, my dad wanted me to play a little bit more of a rough sport, so I went back into lacrosse, and then I kind of just picked up. Ended up playing junior for our local team there. Played field lacrosse for my high school team, and some club stuff, but the field lacrosse for the school team was good.
You know, you think about it, like Stamkos, I think, was good at lacrosse. John Tavares, I think, was good at lacrosse. Sam Gagne was really good at lacrosse. There must be some transferable skills there.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like I learned a lot from lacrosse and kind of trying to adjust my hockey style to more of a lacrosse style in terms of, you know, moving around, jumping in the rush, things like that, where you kind of learn that from lacrosse because your window is a little bit smaller, I find.
Right.
But yeah, it was good, and I came to a point where I had to make a decision, and I would like to think that I was better at lacrosse, and I just didn't really like running. I liked being able to glide a little bit more. So
no gliding in lacrosse.
No. Yeah.
Good. So Al, part of your you talked earlier about you and Leon Denny and Truro, and you that's been part of your hockey journey as well too. And Truro, for you know, is one of the preeminent, I guess, organizations in the Maritime Hockey League over the years, and they've advanced a lot of players to the next level. And part of that has been the tutelage of Coach Sean Evans over there. And maybe can you talk a little bit about what it was like? I know your time was brief in Truro, but maybe talk about what you know, how that helped you in terms of advancing in your hockey in your hockey progression.
Listen, Truro was awesome. They were by far like the most supportive organization that I've been through in junior. Me and Junie, we always talk about how those 2-3 months where I got to Truro, we didn't lose a game for like 2.5 months, and then COVID stopped the season. We were like 16-0, and those were the best 2-3 months of our like whole careers. And we had spent 2 years in Shawinigan prior. No, it was great. Sean was unreal at just like welcoming me. That was my first time in the Maritime, so first time like packed my stuff, drove 16 hours by myself to go to, you know, a small town in Nova Scotia, right? And ever since then, I've been in love with the Maritime. So that played a big factor in my move here too, because ever since then, I kind of did a little tour of the Maritime, fell in love with it.
Sure, kind of all about connections, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dave, are you an MBA student?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got your MBA program, but you've also found time to get involved in the community. I know you've done some volunteer work with the Mount, and you're also done some time with Special Olympics hockey, I believe, as well too. So maybe can you talk about what that's been like, and I guess why do you do it, and why you feel it's important?
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, I always liked doing volunteer stuff. It's just kind of about you know, making it work. Yeah. Ironically, here, my volunteer work at the Mount initiated with when we did a day there as a team.
Was that part of the Good Peace Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's correct. We went there, and I was set up in the lunchroom pouring coffee, and you know, next thing you know, it's crowded with residents there, and they came to chat, and they loved the conversation we had. And one of my classes, actually, a part of it is to get out in the community and
Okay.
you know, learn and try and experience new things. So partially, I'm not going to say it was just me, like I kind of had to do it,
Sure.
but at the same time, I'm so glad I did, because after that day, Cade Kowalski, one of our teammates, also in the same class, we looked at each other and we're like, we got to come back here.
Nice.
And so we got that rolling, and just around Thanksgiving, we helped out with the apple picking there, because they have the
yeah, they get the orchard in behind.
Yeah. So that was great, and now we're going to start you know, setting up regular visits, probably once or twice a week, just go hang out, have some coffee.
You get a whole new social network going on.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Recruiting
So
for fans,
listen,
too.
what's it like playing against J-Bone? I got to know. I mean, you know, I know he's pretty competitive about especially Special Olympics hockey. That's a pretty special part of his life. So what's he like on the ice? I got to know. Inquiring minds got to know.
Oh, he's dialed in. He's quiet. He's quiet, but he's got. He likes to be a little flashy. He's a good shooter too.
Shano show up or just J-Bone?
They both go. It's J-Bone more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right, boys. Listen, thanks for coming on. It's good to get good to chat. Hope you get better soon, Dave and Alex. Continue good success with the rest of the year. Yeah, success. Thanks, boys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.